How's it going, everybody? So we haven't talked much about this upcoming feature simply because it was only a very tiny teaser from Stefan on the Warriors Den for the Year 7 launch. We have no details whatsoever about it. The thing I'm talking about is the performance mode for consoles. We don't know which consoles, we don't know what exactly they're planning to do, we don't know when it might happen. Like I said, we have pretty much no info whatsoever. But now this happened. We've had multiple reports from players that claim that their console is running at 120 FPS. Which means it is time to go investigate and see what is actually happening. The usual thing to do when it comes to stuff like this is to surround yourself with people that know more than you. Deadz did a lot of digging and testing, and Verbosity provided recordings both from the Xbox and the PS5. So we have footage from both new-gen consoles and can compare. When you look at the patch size from last Thursday, you can already tell that something is up with the PS5 version of the game. With that said, let's get a few things out of the way first. None of this currently affects old-gen consoles. Your experience should be the exact same as it's been for the past few years. And then the same goes for the Xbox Series X. You are still running the menu at 30 FPS and the game itself at 60 FPS. Verb recorded these clips at 120 FPS, but the game still only refreshes with 60. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Xbox gamers. The only really interesting part, as you might have suspected already, comes with the PS5 recordings. Multiple of you reached out, and first of all, thanks for that, but you were saying that your TVs automatically switched to a different mode, now running at 120 Hz. But does the game actually run at that frame rate? Is it 120 FPS? For one, the menu is a little bit over 30 FPS. It's not the perfect 30 like on Xbox, but nothing major so far. And the hero execution menu seems to be running at around 40 FPS, so that is a little weird, I guess. What about in-game then? A bot tool shows us a fluctuating FPS number between 90 and 105 roughly, so mostly sitting in the high 90s. So yeah, you guys were correct. You are currently running the game at a higher frame rate than before. It's supposed to be capped at 60, but you're running in the high 90s. And it is pretty consistent. Even in Breach, that number is still roughly the same. It hovers in the 90s, but it will probably drop later on that map. This one's notorious for bad frame rates, even on some of the better PCs. These tests here were all done at 1080p. The game might force this instead of 4K. I'm not entirely sure what new-gen consoles currently default to in terms of settings. But at the end of the day, it wouldn't be too much of a surprise if you couldn't run 4K at 120 FPS. So yeah, in short, are you running the game at 120 FPS? No, you are not. But you are running at a higher frame rate than you are supposed to. But this is only on the PS5 version of the game. I assume this snuck into the patch and wasn't really planned. The good news here seems to be that it is working. Whether this is the FPS number that they're aiming for, or just the first test, we will never know. Maybe the goal is to get it to 120 FPS eventually, but we will have to wait longer to find that out. For now, I'd say enjoy your higher frame rate. I doubt this will stay and probably be patched out soon since it's not ready to be deployed yet. What you can do is share your experience down below. I know a lot of people noticed right away that something feels different, but did it actually make a difference in terms of gameplay for you? Did you feel like you could react better? Was everything slow-mo and nothing could touch you? You know, the usual tropes when it comes to high frames. We are obviously going to revisit this topic in the future since it's quite a big deal. Compare expectations from the players to how it's actually going to affect them and stuff like that. You can already share yours down below if you want. But for now, first, a huge thanks to Deadz and Verb for providing me with the footage and the analysis. And then I hope you guys found it helpful as well. Thanks for watching. Laters, everybody.